those tightened up for you. So just sit back and relax. I've got my handy roadside kit here. We're just going to they're mixed up enough to get that reaction inside the tank that we're looking for. All right, hold up, champ. Hold up, don't move. You had quite a crash just then. Are you all right? Do you feel anything that's definitely broken, or are you just a bit shaken up? All right, just a bit shaken up. Well, like I said, don't move your head. Just stay still. You had a really nasty crash into that side rail here. Just don't worry about the race. We're gonna get you taken care of. We're safely off the road here, so we'll just get you checked up real quick, and then we'll take care of everything else. Just try not to worry. Let me just see your eyes here. Just try to look right here at the light. It's gonna be just a little bit bright, but first things first, we have to make sure that you don't have concussion or anything. All right, let me just see your pupil dilation. All right, surprisingly not too bad. Let me just look from the sides real quick. Just hold up. I know those crashes are always just a little bit disorienting at first, but we'll get you taken care of. Don't worry. All right, like I said, don't worry about the race. This one might just be a little bit over for us, but there's the rest of the cup is still left, so not to worry. All right, let me just try a couple things. I'm going to shine the light quickly, and then I'm going to turn it off and on. So if you can, just keep an eye on the light. I just want to see how your eyes react real quick, okay? On. All right. On. Perfect. Okay. A couple more. As you know, I'm no expert. I'm not a doctor, but we all in the pit crew are certified for general first aid, and concussions definitely apply. So let's just make sure that you're safe to remain in the cart for now. Okay. All right, so good news. I don't think you have a concussion. Like I said, do you have any bones or anything like that that you feel like might be a little bit shaken up? All right, good. Well, it looks like you're lucky. Like I said, that green shell really did a number on you. So I'm happy that you're in one piece. Now, unfortunately, the cart doesn't look like it's in as good of shape. So what we're going to do, just stay put in the car. Now, like I said, champ, I don't think we're going to be able to get you back in this race. This one might be a bit too far gone. So I know you're really competitive. You really wanted to have a nice finish here, but remember, we do have, this is only the second race, and you finished first on the previous track, so you're still fine. Actually, you're top 2 in the leaderboard, and I think even with a poor finish in this race, you should still, I think, be in that top 5. And your best track, that's right, Yoshi's Circuit is up next. So I think as long as we can kind of knock Waluigi out of that top spot, we'll be just fine. So let's just focus on getting the cart back in working order, making sure you are relaxed and can decompress after that wreck, and we'll get focused on that next track, Yoshi's Circuit. That's right, we're still going to win this thing, don't worry. All right, so like I said, unfortunately, the cart has seen better days, so we're just going to, right here off the road, nice and safe. The rest of the pit crew will place the cones out and make sure that none of the traffic or other carts will be interfering. First things first, let's go ahead and get that headset on you. It's a bit loud here by the edge of the track, so this headset will help you relax and decompress after that shocking accident and focus on moving forward. So we're just going to place these over your ears ever so gently, like, as you know, they're very soft, cushioned. They're going to be really comfortable. If you need to close your eyes while I'm working on the cart, feel free to do so. The seat is all somehow preserved and not damaged, so just relax, keep your seatbelt on just in case, just to be safe, and just listen through the headset. Alright? Okay, let me know if you need anything or if anything starts to hurt or anything like that. Alright? Okay, champ, here you go. Alright. How's that? Can you hear me just a bit more clearly? Great. Like I said, that should dampen out some of the roadside noise here and just help you relax a little bit so that we can get your cart fixed up. So that is going to be the biggest trick. I'm just going to get on the gloves here just so I can get a good grip on some of these tools here. Alright, so we do have our nice gloves on. Like I said, let me just actually go ahead and test that hearing. Can you hear that all right? All right, even through that headset? Okay, perfect. Let's try this side. Okay, how does that sound? All right, great. So you can still hear perfectly. Okay, first things first, the lug nuts on the tires there are definitely loosened up after such a collision with the guardrail. So I'm just going to get a couple of the tools out and we're going to get those tightened up for you. So just sit back and relax. I've got my handy roadside kit here. We have our socket driver and all the sockets that we're going to need. Now let me try to remember what size lug nuts the pit crew put on those for you. I know we changed to the more European style wheels. Okay, so it still does look like it is metric, so that's great. I have metric and imperial in here, so we'll actually be perfectly fine either way, but I just like to make sure that I know what I'm dealing with before I start rifling through tools and things like that. We don't want to get anything disorganized or out of sorts, especially here on the side of the road. We probably wouldn't see that socket again if it bounced out into the street or something like that. So let me just go ahead and find that zipper and get this unzipped. Where is that? Oh, there we are. All right. Here we are. A great set of all of the various sockets and the socket driver that we'll need. So let's go ahead and get that out first. So let's just try to remember which socket we're going to need. So what did those look like? All right, I think this should do it here. Let's try this one. Let's see if we can get that on. Just give me a moment. Sometimes these are just a bit stiff after a long time of not seeing use. We don't see a lot of wrecks with our crew, as you know, so sometimes it just takes a minute to get the sockets perfectly fitted. Just sit back, relax, and let me do all of the work. Like I said, we will take care of you and make sure that everything is all right. Actually, let's see if we can try another one. Let's see if these, which of those two sizes look right to you. I just want to make sure that we don't strip out any of those lug nuts and make it difficult to remove them when we get back to the shop, because of course we will replace all 4 of the tires just to be safe after any wreck. We're going to do a complete 15-point inspection and make sure that everything is in working order. I think that's the one. All right, let's go ahead. There we are. All right, so we're just going to tighten. So I'm just going to place that right on the lug nut. We're just going to tighten like so. And we're just going to click, 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 click. Then we'll move right back up and we'll just click, 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 click. Just like so. Like I said, just close your eyes and try to relax. Forget about the race. Forget about all of the stress. And just let yourself unwind a little bit. You have earned it. Okay, I'm just going to get this set up and ready. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start tightening up some of these lug nuts here. Okay, let's get this side. That one's a bit tight. Okay. Perfect, now the back. Okay, this side again, back. Alright, that should be perfectly tightened up, so let's go ahead and get those sockets placed back in their spot. Where was that spot at? Oh, I always do this. Oh, there we go, 17. Alright, so we've got all of the lug nuts tightened up, so hopefully your wheels don't fall off on the way back into the shop. That's my goal. I'd least like to get your cart working enough that way you can at least drive it back in. It's always saves a little bit of the pride to not have to walk back to the shop, right? So let's go ahead and move on. I do notice that you have some dark black smoke there coming from the tailpipe, so looks like you might be running a bit rich. So we probably have a leaking valve, or maybe you might have a coolant leak that's getting into the oil there. We don't know, but I'm just going to treat it here with a little bit of engine treatment. So this should at least seal it up internally enough that we can get it back into the shop and get our hands on it and figure out exactly what's going on. So just give me a few moments. We will take the cap off here and just add a little bit of the treatment into the gas tank and it should cycle through. Let me just make sure that it's mixed up properly. That's the thing about this engine treatment. It's not nearly as effective unless you shake it very well. The components tend to separate after being on the shelves for very long, so you've got to make sure that they're mixed up enough to get that reaction inside the tank that we're looking for. So just give me a moment. I'll get this all mixed up and then we'll get it taken care of. Yeah, as you can hear inside, it's almost like a foaming mixture. It foams up inside once it makes contact with the gasoline and just cleans out those carburetors and the internal lines and things like that. Make sure that we don't have any buildup of residue or anything like that. You know, these wrecks a lot of times jostle things around or create broken seals that allow a lot of leakage of the internal fluids, so you get that rich black smoke. This should take care of it. Okay, that should be enough. I'll just get this cap off and then I'll just add that to the tank. Alright, and then I'll add it to the second tank, of course. You've got the dual tank system, so just, pardon me, just a moment. Alright, that should be enough. So we just want to let that cycle through just a little bit, so as we continue our tune-up here, it should cycle through and you should start to see that black smoke dissipate. It's not a permanent fix, but it should seal up everything at least temporarily enough to, yes, drive it in. So, right, and we'll have you follow the repair vehicle. That way we can go the shortcut way and avoid all of the traffic. We would hate to have another collision on our way back to the shop. So, how are you feeling? A little bit. Things starting to kind of settle down just a little bit for you. Good. Well, like I said, keep an eye. If you have any blurred vision, dizziness, or nausea, things like that, let us know. Sometimes those signs of concussions can be a little bit sneaky. So please let me know if you have any kind of discomfort or anything like that. All right? Okay. We need you in tip-top shape for that Yoshi circuit. We're going to need a first place finish. But like I said, that's your best track, so I'm confident. I know you are as well. So now that we've got those lug nuts tightened, let's go ahead and get a little bit more air in those tires. Let's just top them off just a little bit. So let me get the hose here. We brought our portable tank and we'll get enough air in those tires. We'll check the PSI and we'll make sure that everything is safe to drive back. just try to get this hose a bit better prepared. Sometimes the hoses get tangled up a little bit in the back of the truck and are a bit difficult to handle without things like this, where you don't have a opportune spool. But that's alright. Like I said, just try to relax. Like I said, just try to relax. We're not in any rush now that the race is officially over for us. So let's go ahead and get that coupler connected. So we just have your simple coupler here. I know sometimes, kart enthusiasts like you and me, sometimes it's a bit relaxing just to walk back through the basics and just focus on just the little things. So, right, we just have a simple coupling piece that allows us to connect all of our various tools and attachments. So we'll use this to attach the inflating tool here. Just pull that collar down, insert the tool, and then it latches and locks. Just make sure there's no dust or debris or anything inside the attachment area. Alright, it looks like we're all good, so now we'll just use this attachment. We'll slide it into the coupling, and then we will just use this to inflate your tire. So I'm just going to slide the collar down and then latch. So now you have a secure attachment. We'll just use this to inflate the tire. So just give me a moment. We'll just inflate the front right, front left, I guess. Okay, and now we'll just, let me just get this spool a bit more in reach. Okay, we'll just inflate the front right. Okay, let's get that rear left. Alright, and let's get that rear right. Sorry, these carts are just a little bit close quarters, as you are aware. Alright, perfect. So, looks like the tires are inflated properly. We'll have one of the other staff here check the PSI and make sure that it's up to standard, and hopefully that's all we need to get back to the shop. So is there anything else that you've noticed that we need to take care of? Alright, perfect. Well, I think that should do it. We should be able to get you back to the shop safely. And like I said, don't worry about this race. We are going to get first on that Yoshi circuit, and then it's on to the DK Mountain. So I think we still have a really good chance at getting the top prize. Alright, that's the spirit. Let me just take those headphones. Alright, well, go ahead, follow the pit car, and it will take you back to the shop, and we'll get everything taken care of, and you can get some rest. Alright, still proud of you, so don't worry. Everything's going to be alright, and our best days are still ahead of us. Alright, we'll see you at the shop.